our economic impact
Oh, I
study
think there
as
are some
well.
questions for you. Senator Hancock?
Sure.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chris, can you tell me, did your board see this legislation before or after TAB took a position?
Mr. Chairman, it was, our board adopted our legislative agenda back in September. So this was...
Did your board see this legislation before or after it took a position? Because
This... There was no legislation prior to...
here, I'll help you with timing. You took a position at
Right,
some
September.
point. The legislation was filed at some point. Did you
Right.
take a position before or after this legislation was filed?
The position that our board took is to oppose any legislation that is seen as discriminatory and would impact negatively our workforce recruitment and or cause economic harm to our state.
So you took a
And so-
position before reading anything?
September, yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman.
Do you often take positions on legislation before reading them?
Yes, actually, every September prior to every legislative session,
Well, that's good to know.
our legislative agenda is adopted. It is a set of principles guided by our membership, and our membership gives input. And so, there may not be pieces of legislation filed yet. It is a set of guiding principles, that our board adopts. Yes, sir.
So the legislation itself really doesn't matter?
Well, it does matter. Yes, sir, it does matter. And, the board adopts our legislative agenda. You've all seen this every September prior to the session. And again, it's a set of guiding principles, and it's our staff's marching orders and what we will oppose and what we will stand by during the upcoming session.
I know as a committee member, it would make a difference to me whether somebody takes a position before they've ever read anything. And so I think that's good information to have. Can you tell what the GDP of Texas is?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Oh,
sir.
come on. You're TAB.
Well, look,
Give it a wild guess, Chris.
I don't know what the GDP is, sir. I don't know the exact number.
But you just claimed that you are the speaking body for the Chamber of Commerce
We are
of
the state Chamber of
Texas.
Commerce, absolutely.
You want me to Google it for you and help you with the GDP?
Please.
You have any idea?
It's,
Come on, give me a ballpark. You're a business guy. You represent all the businesses across the state.
I don't want to give you an exact or
Give me a ballpark.
inaccurate
You
figure.
don't even have to be close. I'll let
I
you
don't
be
give you
within
an accurate
20%. I'll let you be within 80%. Come on, Chris.
I don't want to give you an exact figure, sir. I might be wrong.
I'm not asking for exact. You're claiming that you speak on behalf of the businesses of the state of Texas. Surely you know ballpark what the GDP is.
My colleague just handed me this, 1.414 trillion USD.
And your numbers that were already proven false were what?
Excuse me, say it again?
Your numbers that were already proven as being inaccurate were what numbers did you say would cause significant impact to the state?
I didn't give a number. Our
TAB gave a number.
economic impact study?
Right.
So the economic impact study was a range. It was a
Right, but
range of a
what-
low to a high, and the
Right,
high
give me
is
your high.
8.5 billion.
8.5. Can you
Yes, sir.
divide, what was that number? 8.5 divided by what?
1.414 trillion
Can you divide
Roughly.
that? Can you divide that for me?
to, in terms of 8.5 billion,
Yeah.
what is that? That's 30, yeah, 30%. What is that?
Help, maybe,
My
you need a
math.
different calculator.
I'm using a calculator.
Okay, 8.5 billion
Correct.
divided by 1 you say, 7 trillion.
1.14 trillion.
All right, can you?
Right number's
you wanna-
1.7.
What?
Right number's 1.7, but go ahead.
Excuse me, Mr. Hancock, what was
The
it?
right number's 1.7, but go ahead. Let Senator answer this question, please.
Can you divide it and tell me what number that gets you?
My phone's off. We can do the math, sure.
I mean, you got an engineer next to you, I bet you can do the math. It's not that difficult.
Was it? Bear with us. What was it, 1.1?
And bear in mind, this was a number that's already been proven false, so.
No, that's not right. It's good.
But I'm giving you a false, you want me to help you?
It's about 24%.
Try .005.
Not 24%.
Oh, 20, okay. Excuse me. Yes.
That's what you're going to.
What's the number?
On the 1.44, it's .006. On the 1.7, it's 0.005.
Dude, if I'm representing businesses, I would hope my math skills were a little better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
What's the number?
We'd say 1/2 of 1%.
1/2 of 1%. Can you tell me what our rate of growth is?
What is that, about 15%?
Okay.
Any,
I think it's either.
regardless, it amounts to
If we're
discrimination.
gonna claim it's gonna have significant impact, I think it's good to have the specific number. So the number that you're saying we lose is what? 1/2 of 1%?
It's 1/2 of 1%.
And our growth rate is what?
What, 15%?
So, I think, if you're gonna use numbers like significant impact, I think it's good to put it in perspective, and so comparing it to our GDP is a fair way of evaluating that.
Is it worth the risk?
Don't you agree?
Yes, sir, I do, but we also agree, is it worth the risk? Any number of economic impact, whether it's a low range of what the study found or a high range of 8.5 billion, we simply do not think it's worth the risk.
Well, I think the risk of an 8-year-old child in a ladies' locker room, ladies' restroom is not worth the risk of 1/2 of 1%, is that what we said?
And we respect your opinion, absolutely.
What do you think her risk are worth, that 8-year-old child?
I totally agree with you. We don't think that's the issue. What we think is, the reason why we're at the table, Chairman, is about business. And we're about making sure that, frankly, we keep Texas open for business.
So that's why we wanted to get the numbers accurate on the significant impact of being
And, we...
1/2 of 1%.
And, we understand that there is legitimate debate about what the numbers are of a potential economic damage that will result if SB 6 passes. But we also understand that there's a wide range consensus among researchers, including those cited by the PolitiFact Post itself. And I encourage the committee to read the PolitiFact Post itself, that discriminatory legislation will absolutely harm the Texas economy. Let me just read you just briefly.
Hold on a minute, because
Yeah,
you want to reference but how was that already rated by PolitiFact, the thing you're
It's rated
referencing?
mostly false.
And that's
mostly
what we're referencing right now?
Correct. Because what they have a beef with, which I totally understand, is it as high as 8.5 billion?
It's hard to get registered mostly false on those, and now you're referencing in your argument something that PolitiFact has already said is mostly false. I would find another point of reference.
Well, let me just point out, if I can briefly, that if you read the PolitiFact Post, as reported February 3rd, 2017, a Wharton professor, Dr. Maury Schweitzer, said that he'd expect that such law to be detrimental to the Texas economy. Dr. Schweitzer said that precise, quote, figures are difficult to forecast because the effects can snowball. Once one company or sport event boycotts a state, others are more likely to follow. Though I cannot forecast the exact amount, I am positive that a measure limiting transgender bathroom choices will harm the Texas economy. That's one economist. There were several that were used by PolitiFact, as you all know, all over the country to rank this actual study that the students did. There's another one. Economists like James Newsick from the University of Memphis mostly saw no problems with the St. Edward's research approach. Quote, state-to-state impact comparisons are widely used for studies of this kind, but are difficult given the wide range of policy variations of economic conditions in each state.
Yeah, and Chris, I get it, and I gave you your false numbers, and even considered those to be accurate numbers, which we knew were false. and said what impact would it have, and we compared it to our GDP. So, I mean, we know, I'm giving you your false numbers, right, that were falsely high, and even your falsely high numbers were, what percentage again? I can't remember.
0.5%.
All right.
Again, we don't think it's worth the risk, no matter what the numbers are.
And so while you can't measure it, one thing we can measure is the impact of Target's economy after they took a position. Would you say that those numbers were favorable or difficult?
That would be up to the board at Target.
No, not their stock price isn't up to the board.
Well, no,
Their revenue generation.
consumers.
Right.
They're consumers, and if consumers do not like the position of Target, then they can shop elsewhere.
Can you tell me
There were-
how much their stock's down since that point in time?
I don't recall.
It's about
I'm not an
30%.
investor. I'm not.
So,
We have, 68 letters, 68 businesses, many of our largest employers, as you know, that sign the Keep Texas Open for Business.
how many members y'all have?
We have 4,300, sir, and
Okay.
200 local chambers of commerce. 1,250 signed the Texas Competes Pledge, encouraging our state to be open to, welcoming to all workers and all customers within our state.
So
So we think that's a significant number.
a significant minority of your members signed on to that. Thank you very much.
Senator
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Bettencourt.
Good evening,
Mr.
sir.
Wallace,
Yes, sir.
did you read the study before you quoted from it on December the 6th of 2016?
Yes, sir.
You did? Did your board read and approve that study for use?
No, sir, the board was never asked to approve the study.
I can only hope they were not asked to approve the study. Because if they
Not approve
were,
the study, but the board commissioned the study. That was part of our strategy.
okay, but
After the
in
last
writing, St. Edwards is claiming no,
Right.
I've got, the author of the bill has a letter from the dean that says there's.
Yes, sir.
they
I've
don't-
seen it.
Right. So they are obviously disavowing the study from any connection with TAB, true or false?
The letter that I've seen is true. Now,
You just said it was true.
we certainly stand by the students, and I think if the students were here, they will certainly stand by their study. These are highly regarded MBA students at one of the best universities in the state. We're very proud of our relationship with St. Edward's University. We're very proud of the two faculty members, very renowned faculty members that oversaw the MBA students conducting this
Well,
study.
let's see just how proud they would be, okay? Because they're not here, and quite frankly, the work product is yours, okay?
Right, correct.
And let's just go into that for detail.
Yes, sir.
When you were quoting this in December, did you recognize that this study was done a year prior to that period?
Yes, sir.
So you thought it was appropriate for the business umbrella organization to quote from a study that was already 1 year old that did not reference the legislation that we're even talking about today?
That's the latest information that the students had, was the state of Indiana. So let me give you a little context of the study. The study was done after the last session. We were approached.
Mr. Wallace, do you realize that when you stand up as the umbrella group for the Texas Association of Business, okay, and you stand up and say, and I'm looking at what is one of many press releases from December 6th, okay? Am I misrepresenting that your direct quote is that Texas bathroom law that you now admit you had not read, it was not part of the study, and
did
that
read the study.
that it was not part of the study, true or false?
I'm not following your question, I'm sorry.
Then just follow this real clearly. You stood up on December the 6th and said that the Texas Association of Business says a bathroom law that was not part of the study, that your board had not seen and therefore had not approved opposition,
That's not-
was going to cost Texas $8.5 billion and 185,000 jobs. And that's a responsible position for the president of the Texas Association of Business?
We disagree, sir.
Disagree?
And I
What
respect
basis?
your opinion.
What basis, in fact, do you have that this is different?
We did read the study. The board did help commission the study. If you look at the St. Edward's letter from the dean, it says, quote, "Based on our contractual agreement with TAB, the organization was free to use the research at their discretion, and the research is the property of the Texas Association."
Okay, so let's take it one at a time then. One of the three states surveyed is
Yes, sir.
Arizona.
Correct.
Were you aware that Senate Bill 11062 has never been passed by the legislature in Arizona?
But what was the
Yes or no?
impact? Yes. What was the impact of that even
Sir,
being
did
discussed?
you answer the question that you were aware
Yes, sir.
that Senate Bill 1062 was never
Correct.
passed by the
That's correct.
Arizona legislature?
That's correct.
Great. Then let's go to the next location. Were you aware in Louisiana that House Bill 707 was never passed by the legislature in Louisiana?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Oh, so you're 2 for 2, okay? Now,
Indiana. Indiana.
no, I'm asking the questions now, sir, because you have misled the public to a great degree on this study. Now, let me go to this point. I understand that that in the study, because the first thing I did when I saw your press release, I actually read the study.
Yes, sir.
And I immediately found that this was a blog or reference on a weekly blog that referenced a conversation that somebody had that claimed that 80 to 85% of the entire convention business in New Orleans would be lost. Now, apparently the Times-Picayune picked that up, but your students printed it as fact, even though, let me read this, in the study itself, so far statements issued by companies and conference organizers opposing the measure have not been followed up with action. Do you understand the statement, what that means, sir?
Yes, sir.
So explain it to me. What does that statement mean?
Sir, the study was done by students, MBA students at a local university. It was...
Mr. Walsh, you can't have it both ways. You can't say that this study was at the highest level and then come back and tell me right now that it's a student study and therefore...
It was a student study.
But that therefore it should be discounted.
No, not at all. No, we do not discount. We stand by the study. If there is a debate about the $8.5 billion, okay. What we're saying is there will be...
Mr. Wallace, we're going to go through these states one by one, because so far you have admitted that both the first two states studied by the study are bills that were never passed by the legislature.
There was still economic impact that the students found in both the state of Louisiana and the state of Arizona, as well as the state of Indiana.
That's a preposterous claim on its face, because in Arizona, the bill was never passed. There is therefore no economic impact, and this is fake news in Louisiana, sir, because clearly the blogger referenced a comment that was, quote, I'm reading this in plain English to you from your own study. So far, statements issued by companies and conference organizers opposing the measure had not been followed up. When I was more politically correct, I quoted in plain English, it means their efforts didn't pan out, because nothing happened. True or false?
I don't know that.
Then answer the right one. The right way to answer that question is true.
The students-
Nothing happened in New Orleans. True or false?
I don't know that nothing's happened in New Orleans.
How can you
I
put
do
your-
know that the students and faculty found economic impact, or it wouldn't be in the study.
It is absolutely fake news for the president of the Texas Association of Business to be quoting a study that has an absolute zero credibility rating. Because in the study itself, it discounts what was in the blog and picked up by the Times-Picayune in plain English, in writing that you paid for.
Just a minute, calm down. I think witnesses who are sitting here, y'all aren't really involved in this discussion. Y'all are a little uncomfortable, so why don't y'all get up and you're probably ready to head towards home. So we'll continue with this.
Thank you.
And we want to understand you have important points to make, Senator Bettencourt, but I have several hundred people waiting